Hello, boys and girls. Steve Fletcher here, and this is Charlie. Everybody say hello to Charlie. You probably see my camera and everything reflected in Charlie. Charlie is incredibly special to me. Why is Charlie so special? Charlie is the guitar I have had for the longest. It is April 2024. And he is 30 years old. I bought Charlie around about April 1995. I bought him new from Anderton's. He was mail ordered, and he cost me the princely sum, if I can remember, of £947. He is a 1957 vintage reissue Fender Stratocaster. Yeah, and a second-hand one these days, I'm looking online now, as a second-hand one's around about the price of about 16, 17, 1800 quid. Brand new, you're talking sort of 50 quid shy of £2,000. So I think 957 quid back in 1995 was not bad. And considering that I was a spotty 15-year-old lad at that point, £957 was a humongous sum of money, to the point where I did have to blag my dad's credit card and paid him back over the course of, 2 years or so. I paid him back. Now, he last played, as you can see, he is particularly battered. All of this is not relic. This is all genuine. He last played a note in 2019, about 6 months before COVID dropped, and he is currently dead. The interim 5 years, he's dead as a doornail. And it occurred to me about 2 years ago that, he's coming up for 30 years old. I don't like that, I've had him longer in my life than not. I don't like that he just sits there. I wanted to get him back up to full playing power. So over the course of about a year, 18 months, I've been slowly doing some much needed upgrading. I'm not going to get him refinished or anything like that. He has already been refinished once, many, many moons ago. He was originally Fiesta Red, which is a very red red. He's now Candy Apple Red because I bought him because David Gilmour of Pink Floyd, our Lord, thy God, David Gilmour, throughout the whole of the Momentary Lapse of Reason and the Vision Bell tours, David Gilmour used a 57 reissue Strat. So when it came time for me to buy a Strat, there was no question that I was going to buy a 57 Strat. But his was Candy Apple Red. His is Candy Apple Red, whereas this was Fiesta Red. So at the earliest opportunity, I got him resprayed. He's not the first guitar I ever bought. I owned 2 guitars before I bought Charlie. My first ever guitar was an electric guitar. I had a Hondo Strat Copy, which was bright, luminous pink. It had didn't have a scratch plate. It had a single humbucker in the bridge. And I also had a Hohner Jack guitar, headless guitar, which is actually the guitar equivalent of this bass, which I have. Both of which were sold to pay for the deposit for this. I'm a long believer of never selling guitars. I've only sold maybe 2 or 3 guitars in my life. Some of those I really, really regret now. So I'm kind of a believer of just don't sell them. It's not worth it. So yes, I'm going to go off on a few tangents. So yes, I decided it was time to get him restored so that by the time his 30th birthday came along, which is now April 2024, he was back to full playing strength. So what have I done? The biggest things that I've done have all been in this area. I've bought him a new short scale trem arm, a la David Gilmour. I bought him a new bridge. So what happened was I'd not had him long. And bear in mind, this is pre-internet, pre-researching, pre-easy researching time. And it was really annoyed me that when he had his tremolo bar in, it would flop about like crazy. When David Gilmour used his, he would do that, and it would stay there, and he would do that, and it would stay there. And I had no idea why. These days, you can go on the internet, how do I stop my trem from moving? And there it is. It stopped. You research that you get some plumber's tape, wrap it around, and away you go. In those days, 1995, 96, there was no internet for me. So it was a question of being stupid and wrong and breaking my guitar. And what I did was I screwed and screwed and screwed and screwed and screwed the trem into the hole. What happened, of course, is it snapped inside. So we had to have a brand new bridge plate. So that was that. Brand new tremolo bar. The saddles, not just the whole bridge tremolo unit, the saddles as well, were a big, I'll dig out the pictures, but they were a big mush of rustiness, to put it mildly. So I also have replaced all the saddles. The most, and of course the biggest thing is, I don't know why, but the pickups are dead. It's had this gold scratch plate on it for about 2 years. Charlie's original scratch plate is here, and as you can see, this too has also suffered. I think I'm going to put this back on, actually, because I just like it better. I don't mind the gold scratch plate. It goes with the gold that's peeking through, but it's not as intended. And what's happening today, which is a very exciting thing, is this has arrived. What is this? Ta-da! This is the Pro Series, the EMG DG20 pickup series, which again is the exact pickup system that Gilmour used throughout the whole of the Momentary Lapse of Reason and the Division Bell tours. This is a second-hand one. There it is. Now, there's nothing wrong with this sort of pearloid scratch plate, but I don't particularly like it. So I'm going to put Charlie's original scratch plate back on. Those of you who aren't familiar with the DG20 system, completely active system with the EXG and SPC expander stuff. It would be a wonderful idea, wouldn't it, if I could A/B what these pickups sound like against what these pickups sound like. And unfortunately at the moment I can't do that because these pickups are dead. Now, of course, in order to get this off and these pickups on, I've got to take all this off. So it might be when I unscrew all this, I spot that, oh yes, that wire isn't on. So it could be that I can still give you an A/B, but it could be that I don't. So here I go, unscrewing everything, high speed time, and we'll see what happens. I've spotted this coming off there. So that might be the cause of the no power. So I'm going to power up my soldering iron. Yes, my American friends, there is an L in soldering. I'm going to power up my soldering iron, no offense, and reattach that and see if that makes any difference to the deadness. So, success. I'm glad I did that, actually. So yeah, a little bit of soldering, and he lives once more. So what I'm going to do, in fact, doing that actually reminded me that he still needs to get a new nut for him. About 20 years ago, as I said before, I went through a shameful trying to be Stevie Ray Vaughan phase, which no one should do. And I kept going higher and higher and up, higher and higher up with my gauges of my strings, and I tried to put an experimental gauge 14 gauge strings on there, and if I remember rightly, this ended up having to be the G string off a bass, I think, many moons ago. So put it on, tighten it up, and the notes just went bing. So it was when I was like, that's not a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage my David Gilmour patch on the Helix and just go through a few sounds and settings. I'm not going to like A/B, this is breathe with these pickups, this is breathe with these pickups and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to sort of just play a few things around the same sort of vein. Because bear in mind, it's going to take me about another hour or so to get all this off. So yeah, we're just going to just sort of see how they sound different, if at all. I hope they do sound a bit different, otherwise I've wasted my money. So that's done. So big moment now. For the first time in 30 years, these pickups will be removed from Charlie. They've served me very, very well. And on to the next 30 years, I hope. So it's they're all installed, they're all on. You can see that they are second-hand from this, can't you? Little bit of troubleshooting is this. You can see there's some quite substantial bulging going on. Before you say anything, yes, all the wires are in their respective cavities and stuff. So I'm not quite sure what's causing this. So I'm going to do some further investigation. I don't think you need to route these pickups down any lower, but I'm going to do some extra investigation, and we'll let you know in due course. It's all a work in progress. Right, so yeah, following up from my previous video, bit of a pisser, to be honest, that it's fairly clear straight away that the Fender pickups are a lot shallower. The EMGs are a lot deeper. So there is going to have to be, in order to fit these much thicker EMGs into that cavity, there is these pick up cavities, 1, 2, and 3 are going to have to be routed down. So that's a bit annoying, to be honest. I do have a router, but it's just more work, to be honest. So everything's going to have to come off. So what I thought was going to be a quite straightforward in and out video is now going to be a much more work video. But 'tis what it is. We learn these things along the way. But just anybody who is considering changing out their Strat for some of these EMGs, just bear that in mind, that the depth of those EMGs is a lot more, and you might have to do some extra routing. Incidentally, if you are wondering where the battery goes in there, it is quite happy just sort of sat underneath the tones. I did have a friend, well, I do have a friend, hello John, who had an active Fender which had a battery compartment, you know, underneath the body. I don't think I'm going to need to install that, but we'll see. I don't know how long the battery is going to last in the EMGs. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen now. Well, I do, but I don't know when it's going to take place. Hopefully sometime this week. So we'll so stay tuned and we'll see what happens. Hello. So here we are. A couple of days have passed. I'm wearing different clothes. And Charlie has now been routed down. So you've just seen those pictures. It was a pain in the backside. I must be honest with you. It's one of those things that I've been researching these pickups and looking into buying these pickups for years. And no one on any forum or any Facebook page or anywhere has ever said, oh, by the way, you need to route your pickups down. And yes, I know, duh, I was being a bit dim. You know, you probably should check these things on the way, on the journey, but I didn't. But there you go. So anybody who is considering doing what I'm doing and upgrading your beautiful Stratocaster to the EMG, DG, SA pickups, do double check that your particular beautiful Stratocaster will take those deeper pickups. Full disclosure, one final thing, taking the neck off and everything to route this down, so I want everything out of the way. There, you can't see that. You will be about to see a photo appear. It says 1994, as clear as day. What can't speak, can't lie. It either says May or March. There's definitely an M there. Then there's some smuts, which you can't, so you can't see whether it's May or March. Then there's a 7, and then it says 1994. So without a shadow of a doubt, April is a pretty good middle ground. 1994 for when the body. An odd thing with the neck, however, is the neck, and again, right there, I'll put you a little thing on, says 4395, which I'm assuming, because it's American, means April the 3rd, 1995. And again, for my American friends, that's not the way that you write the date, but what am I going to do? So yeah, it's a strange thing, and I have checked the serial number as well with the Fender serial number checker, and it does say that it was completed in 1995, which I'm assuming is, you know, when did it leave the factory? I bought Charlie in 1995. He was new when I bought him. So sort of, you know, it does all make sense. So, you know, am I being a bit premature saying he's 30? No, I don't think I am. I mean, when, you know, it's not really as black and white with guitars because they are built over a period of time. The body, without a shadow of a doubt, says 1994. So I suppose you could say he was conceived in 1994 and birthed in 1995. But my word, he's certainly got the mileage on him to justify me saying that he's 30 years old. So here we go. So all there is now is to high speed put everything back together and then give you some before and after clips. No, not before. I've done before. To give you some after clips. So here we go. Shakalak. There we go. Mic in my face. So, one very happy guitar player. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Guitar needs a setup. Basically, all I've done is just put it back together and started playing for you. Guitar's going to need a good bit of sorting out. Just why on earth do I wait so long? Basically, they are fantastic. They're very alive, very growly, very active. Obviously, the expander stuff works wonders. Particularly noticeable, I think, on the clean sound. And again, it's just going to take some getting used to find the right settings for the right things. But overall, very, very happy. Mwah. Happy birthday to Charlie. Happy birthday to me. Not that it's my birthday, but, you know, it feels like it. That I've got this guitar back to sort of functionality, basically. It's been a long journey. It's been a long time. And I'm very, very happy indeed. So thank you very much for watching, boys and girls. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube page. And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.